All right, get ready to dive deep into website costs down under.
Specifically Australia.
You got it. And to navigate this digital landscape, we've got this super helpful article from Now Technology Systems.
They're an Australian web development company, so they definitely know their stuff.
For sure. So whether you're like a business owner thinking about a new website or just curious about how it all works, this is for you.
We're going to break it all down, make it crystal clear, and hopefully help you get the most bang for your buck.
Exactly. And maybe even uncover a few surprises along the way, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by the range of prices out there.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What are the core components of building a website?
It's actually a lot like building a house. You need that solid foundation.
Gotcha. So what's the foundation of a website?
First off, you got your domain name, like your online address, and then, of course, hosting.
Which is like the land your website sits on, right?
Exactly.
Makes sense. And I've heard that for Australian businesses, a .com.au domain can be a real advantage.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Aussie shoppers tend to, trust local businesses more. It's just natural.
Right, so that .com.au instantly tells them, hey, we're one of you.
Exactly. It builds that trust right off the bat.
Smart. Now, what about hosting? Is it as simple as just picking the cheapest option?
Not necessarily. It's kind of like choosing the right neighborhood for your website,
Okay, so walk me through those options.
Well, you've got shared hosting, which is like renting an apartment.
Yeah.
Affordable, but you're sharing resources.
So if your site gets a lot of traffic, things could slow down.
Potentially, yeah. Then there's dedicated hosting, like owning your own house. More resources, better performance, but pricier.
Okay, so dedicated hosting is for the big players, the high-traffic websites.
Yeah, or for sites that need super tight security.
Makes sense. So you choose your domain, your hosting. What's next?
Now it's time to think about design and development, the look and feel of your website.
Right, where things get creative, and you've got options, right?
Tons. You can go for a fully custom design, totally unique to you.
Like hiring an architect to design your dream home.
Exactly. Or you can use a template, which is more budget-friendly.
Kind of like choosing a pre-designed house plan, right? Still nice, but maybe not as unique.
Yeah, exactly. But regardless of the design, you'll need a content management system or CMS.
Okay, CMS. What's that?
Think of it as the framework, the structure that holds your website together, like the building code.
Okay, got it. So what are some popular CMS options out there?
Well, WordPress is super popular, especially for beginners. Easy to use, very flexible.
I've heard of that one. What else?
You've got Joomla, a bit more robust, good for larger sites.
And what about Drupal?
Drupal's highly customizable,
Yeah.
but can be a bit more technical.
So choosing the right CMS depends on like your comfort level with tech and how complex your site is.
Precisely. But sometimes, even those aren't enough.
Really? When would you need something even more?
If you need something super unique, very specific functionalities, you might need a custom CMS built from scratch.
Wow, that's like designing your own building method. Maximum control, but probably pretty expensive.
It can be, yeah. But once you've got your CMS, you can start thinking about all the features.
Right, the bells and whistles, things like e-commerce, member areas, blogs, all that good stuff.
Exactly. And all those can really enhance your site, but each one adds complexity, potentially affecting the cost.
Okay, so it's about striking a balance, right?
Yeah.
Getting the features you need without blowing the budget.
Absolutely. But remember, even the most amazing website is useless if people can't find it.
So true. Which brings us to SEO and digital marketing, right?
Exactly. SEO is all about making sure search engines can find you.
It's like putting up a big sign that says, hey, we're here.
And making sure that sign is pointing in the right direction so the right people see it.
Gotcha. And digital marketing is like all the other ways to get the word out.
Social media, emails, advertising, the whole shebang.
So you build this amazing site, you get people to find it, but then what?
Just like a house needs maintenance, your website needs ongoing care.
Okay, like what kind of care are we talking about?
Software updates, security patches, backups, content updates, all that good stuff.
So it's not just a one-time thing. You got to keep things running smoothly.
Exactly. Neglect it, and you risk security issues, broken features, a website that looks, well, outdated.
And that could hurt your business, right?
Oh, for sure. People might think you're not even in business anymore.
So website maintenance is like regular cleaning and repairs for your digital home.
You got it. It's an investment that keeps your site looking good and performing well.
All of this is super helpful. Thanks for breaking it down.
No problem.
Now, I'm dying to know, what kind of price range are we talking about for all of this?
Let's get into that after a quick break.
Sounds good. We'll be right back.
All right, let's talk numbers. For a simple website, like a digital brochure, you're probably looking at somewhere between AUD 1,500 and AUD 5,000.
That's not bad, especially for businesses just starting out online.
Yeah, it's a good entry point. But if you want something more custom, more unique,
With like special features and a really standout design.
then we're talking custom websites, which usually run between AUD 5,000 and AUD 15,000.
Okay, so you're paying for that extra level of personalization and functionality.
Exactly. Now, if you want to sell stuff online, that's a whole other ball game.
E-commerce, right. What
Yeah.
kind of investment are we looking at there?
E-commerce sites are more complex, starting around AUD 10,000 and often going way up from there.
Wow, so the price can really vary depending on what you need.
Oh yeah, big time. Things like the number of products, the checkout process, all those features add up.
Makes sense. So besides the type of website, what other factors affect the price?
Well, the complexity of the design is a big one. Intricate custom designs take more time and skill.
So if you're on a tight budget, maybe a simpler template is the way to go.
It could be, yeah. But you might sacrifice some of that visual wow factor.
True, true. What else should people consider?
The expertise of the developer is huge. Don't just go for the cheapest option.
Right, because you often get what you pay for.
Exactly. A skilled developer might cost more up front, but they can save you money in the long run.
By avoiding those costly mistakes and rework down the line.
Exactly. And these days, you can't forget about responsive design.
Oh yeah, making sure your site looks good on all devices, phones, tablets, everything.
It's crucial. People are browsing on everything these days, and Google actually favors mobile-friendly sites.
So if your site isn't responsive, you could be losing out on customers and search engine ranking.
Big time. And another thing that can really affect cost is the timeline.
Oh, right. How fast you need the website built.
Rushing things can lead to, well, let's just say it's not always the best idea.
Because developers might have to cut corners or work overtime, which can get expensive.
Exactly. It's always better to be realistic about your timeline and plan for a bit of wiggle room.
I'm getting the sense that website development is much more strategic than I initially thought.
Oh, it definitely is. It's not just about picking a design. It's about understanding all these different pieces and making smart choices.
So where should people even begin? How can they make sure they're getting the most out of their investment?
First things first, clarity. Before you even talk to a developer, figure out exactly what you want.
Okay, like your goals for the website, your target audience, all that.
Exactly. Having a clear vision will save you a lot of headaches and potentially a lot of money.
Right, because changing things mid-project can get messy.
Oh, yeah. And don't be afraid to shop around, get quotes from different developers, compare their work.
Find the right partner, someone you trust and who gets your vision.
Exactly. And remember, sometimes investing a bit more upfront in a quality developer can actually save you money down the line.
So it's not just about the initial price tag, it's about the long-term value.
And the potential for that website to really grow your business.
Makes sense. Any other advice before we move on?
Yeah, don't underestimate the value of expert advice. A good digital marketing consultant can be a gold mine of insights.
So they can help you create a website that's not just pretty, but also effective.
Exactly. They can make sure your website is designed to attract customers and help your business grow.
This is all fantastic advice. I'm feeling much more informed already.
Glad to hear it. But there's one more crucial thing to consider, especially in Australia.
Okay, what's that?
Regulations. Specifically, Australian regulations.
Right, because there are laws around privacy and accessibility and all that.
Exactly. Let's dive into those next.
Sounds good. This is important stuff. So let's unpack these regulations. What do Australian businesses really need to know when building their websites?
Well, front and center, you've got the Privacy Act of 1988.
Okay, the Privacy Act, that's all about protecting personal data, right?
Exactly. It covers how you collect, store, and use personal information from your website visitors.
So you need to be upfront about what you're collecting and why.
Absolutely. Transparency is key. And having a clear, easy-to-understand privacy policy is a must.
Right, that makes sense. But what about data breaches? Those seem to be happening all the time these days.
Yeah, data breaches are a serious issue. The impact can be huge, both for businesses and individuals.
So what can businesses do to protect themselves and their customers?
Robust security measures are non-negotiable. Think secure hosting, strong passwords, regular updates, firewalls, the works.
It's like having a fortress around your website.
Exactly. And, it's also smart to have a data breach response plan in place.
Just in case, right?
Yeah, just in case. Being prepared can really minimize the damage if a breach does occur.
Okay, that's good advice. Now, shifting gears a bit, what about accessibility standards? I know Australia has adopted the WCAG guidelines, but what do those actually mean for website owners?
The WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, are all about making websites usable for everyone, including people with disabilities.
So it's about inclusivity, making sure everyone can access and enjoy your website.
Exactly. This means things like providing text alternatives for images, using clear language, and ensuring your site can be navigated using a keyboard.
So it's not just about visual design, it's about making the website functional for all users.
Absolutely. And it's not just a nice to have, it's actually the law in Australia.
Really? So there are legal consequences for not complying with these guidelines.
Yeah, there can be. The Disability Discrimination Act covers website accessibility, so businesses that don't comply could face complaints or even legal action.
Wow, so it's not just an ethical consideration, it's a legal one too.
Exactly. But beyond the legal stuff, accessible websites just offer a better experience for everyone.
Makes sense. It's about creating a welcoming and engaging online space for all visitors.
Precisely. So, as you can see, building a website in Australia involves way more than just picking a design and throwing money at it.
It's about understanding all these different elements, from choosing the right domain and hosting to prioritizing security, maintenance, and complying with Australian regulations.
And in approaching it strategically, seeing your website as a valuable asset that can drive business growth.
It's been amazing breaking all of this down with you.
Absolutely. Hopefully, our listeners feel empowered to make smart choices when building their online presence.
And speaking of our listeners, I want to leave them with something to ponder. If you were to build a website today, what one feature would you absolutely prioritize? What would be essential for achieving your unique goals and connecting with your target audience? Think about it and maybe even share your answer with us on social media. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Great question.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of website development costs in Australia.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time for another insightful exploration.